What's happening? Welcome to Dysfunctional Gaming. I am Thundercat. That is DM Patch Nasty, right? That's the way I'm pointing. Yep. How's it going today?
I am tired. I don't want to peel any more potatoes. I'm ready to talk D&D.
All right. Yeah, we're going to be talking about DM stuff, Dungeon Master, the most important person in the game. Because if you don't have the DM, you don't have a game. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the chat, and we'll get to them as we can. So I guess we should just get right into it. Let's talk about what happened last week first. We talked about our friend Carlin the gnome. She is a sorcerer, and she. What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing that we started off a D&D podcast. How you start off a D&D game? Let's talk about what we talked about last week. I love it.
Well, everybody roll and see who rolled best on their history check, and they get to tell us what happened last week.
Oh, hang on, I got my dice right here.
You're gonna have to roll for me. My desk is full of stuff.
I got a 12, and you got an 11.
Oh, looks like you're telling us what happened last week.
So yes, we made Carlin the Gulak, if you will, the great old one warlock.
The gnome lock.
The gnome lock. We gave her a tiny glimpse into a backstory. We talked about some of our past PC experiences. We talked about a little bit of vocab. I believe I talked about something I've already forgotten about. And Thundercat talked about something that I've already forgotten about once again. I got notes here and everything.
Yeah, we talked about how she found this random great old one, basically, to give her powers, and then we made her character sheet. Most of the race and class stuff is done. We're going to do her backstory next week, but this week we're going to stick to DM stuff, but we'll continue the story that we started earlier this week, started last week, by doing some DM stuff, Dungeon Master things, around what we got last week. So I guess let's start with DMing in a nutshell. What aspects do you have to bring to the table when you're a DM? Like, before you even get into the books, before you get into like the actual game itself, who do you need? What traits should you have knowing what you know now, Patch?
That's a very, very good question there, Thundercat. I would certainly recommend embracing chaos. If you have a plan, get ready to not stick to it. I've learned in the short time DMing for D&D to write down little cliff notes of what I want to cover and then fill in the gaps, because you do not know what your players are going to do, even if you know them very, very well. Thunder, same question.
Well, you gotta have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, you're gonna have a hard time. You gotta roll with the punches. Yeah, definitely. Umlaut, you gotta be able to adapt. But I think number one is thick skin. If you could possibly meet some players that really want to push buttons, and if you don't have the thick skin, then you're not gonna be able to stick it out. You'll get upset and say things you don't mean, and
yes. So that's a very good point. There's a part that covers it in the DM's guide. There's a point that leave everything that's not at the table off the table. So if you and this person don't agree on a certain aspect of life, or certain things you clash on, leave it there. If they're still down to play D&D and they're a decent human being, play D&D, because not a lot of people do. It's hard getting games.
Yeah. All right. So now, what other things should you do when you start DMing? What's the biggest thing that you've done since you started now, and that you still continue to do from?
Silly voices.
Okay.
I do
Just
a
practicing
lot of
voices.
I like doing voices and making shit up on the fly, like just going with stuff. To be completely honest with you,
Yep.
if someone's joking around, I'll continue the jokes and see how long we can drag it out. Beat that horse until it's dead. Not literally. Don't beat a horse.
I mean, anything can happen in a D&D
another
game.
thing I do. Anything can happen.
You could be beating a horse.
Yep, you could be beating a horse. There's always look for a way to reinterpret like things that you're passionate about into D&D, or if know your players. That's really like get to know your friends a little bit more. That's a big thing. I've also learned this DM. When you play D&D with people, you get to know them a lot more, because then when you know the person a little bit more, you can bring certain things that you know that person will key into. Like if you know like a person's really into role playing and they're not big onto the character aspects, give them those moments to shine and talk, and don't let the dice decide. Sometimes it's okay to not roll dice and be like, wow, that was inspiring. I'm not going to give you inspiration. I'm just going to say, yeah, that hit me right there.
So yeah, I think from just doing it for so long now, and specifically, I've only been doing it for about 5 years, but I really just wanted to know as much as I could about the game. So like putting the time in to learn backstory on these places that you go to, or creating the backstory on these places that the characters will go to. I think just putting in the time is really important for being a DM. So I don't want people to think that you could just jump into the game. You can if you want to improv everything and you have a mind for it. That's fine. You can totally pull off improving 100% of the game or pulling from tables, but you need to know questions like, how many books are on the shelf and what are their names? Because if you don't, you're going to have people literally asking what they are. So
can I buy a box of books?
Yeah, don't forget that like a lot of people play games differently than you do. So if you think you can pull 100% of improv, all the power to you, but it's a lot harder than it looks. And if you watch any of these really well done D&D YouTubes or shows, those DMs are really good at what they do, but they put in a lot of work. They're not all improv. So you got to put in the work if you want to be a DM, I think.
Yep. Absolutely. I'll agree with that 110%. I mean, if you like to tell stories that are fairly interactive and you think that you could do it, and you think that you can do it in a way that other people will have fun doing it, please try being a DM. Just know that sometimes you're there to lose. You are there to you are the stepping block to make the people look good. You don't want to TPK them on level 1 characters.
Yep.
Wait until they're level 5.
You're telling a story together as a group.
Yep.
You're still a player. But you know the outcomes. That's the only issue. So you know the spoilers, but you want your friends to enjoy the movie. So you push them the left or right, or don't push them left or right. Let them pick and then go with that punch or go with that kick. Like, figure out the best way that they enjoy their game and work with it. All right. D&D vocab. I think we've had enough DM in a nutshell stuff. Let's get right into the D&D vocab, because we're going to have a lot of lore and past experiences coming up. So What'd you bring to the table this week?
Oh, I brought something that I think has made my way of DMing a little bit better in sense. It's the rule of cool.
Rule of cool. I love it.
Right? Like, it's something that it's not really covered in the book in a lot. The rule of cool is, let's say you're at the top of us, like you're in some skyscraper and you need a way down, and there happens to be a fire hose and you're not wearing any shoes. Why don't I go ahead and tie that fire hose around me and then climb down the side of the building? Because that sounds cool. As a DM, that, like, your player is trying to do some diehard shit. That sounds really cool. This is the time to let some kind of stuff slide, and then say those words that every player wants to hear. You can certainly try, because then you put it in the face of this little guy right here. I'm going to put it on the 20 just because hopefully they roll that and not the other side of the die. Because if they pull it off, it's going to be so cool. They'll talk about it for weeks to come, and you'll be like, I'm so proud of my players. They did something so cool. Or the flip side is they'll roll really bad, and they'll talk about it for weeks to come because it was so funny. Granted, if you fall 360 feet, as a goldfish, you should turn into paste. So yes, please make that happen. If you don't watch Critical Role, you should. That was when cool did not pay off.
Still, it was cool to try.
It was certainly cool to try, and then
at the same time, it was kind of a silly, like, you should know better.
Why didn't you turn into a bird? Why didn't you turn into like a whale?
Druids be druids.
Fucking Keyleth.
I mean, yes, rule of cool is great. I totally appreciate it. The thing is with me and the rule of cool is, if you can explain to me how it works, I'll allow it. If there comes into the play that's like, well, I want to jump off the building with the rope around my waist, and then I'm gonna cut it when I get to the bottom, and I won't take as much impact because I used it's like, that's too much. Just tell me you're wrap it around and you're running down the thing.
Less is more, baby. Less is more. You're selling something to me. Do not tell me everything you do, because then I'm gonna have you roll that die like 5 fucking times.
Yeah, or it's gonna be a lot tougher because you're trying to do a lot more. Mm-hmm. So is there anything else related to that you want to talk about, or?
Oh, sure. As a DM, it's perfectly fine to say no. No, that is no. No. Do not let your players walk all over you. That's not what I'm like. There's the rule of cool, and then there's times that it's like, you're pushing it. You're pushing. Is there a chandelier in this cave? I don't think so. Sorry, Patrick Rothfuss. What'd you think for vocab?
Unless you're in the catacombs of a premier chandelier maker. There might be a few old ones down in the basement that he left down there because he didn't sell.
If you're in that highly illogical scenario, yes, please ask, is there a chandelier? And then have your DM just
But if you're just a goblin hideout, there's probably not a chandelier there.
Probably not.
Okay, so his is more of a abstract D&D vocab, which is totally agreeable, and I loved it. But I'm going to bring it back into the book a little bit. We're still new here. I don't know who has played the game, who hasn't, and I want our early episodes to kind of encapsulate some, like, just basic stuff to everybody. So I brought difficulty class. See how happy I was about So basically, a difficulty class is the DM's best friend.
This is how you don't have those things happen, right there.
So yes, so if you want to do something in Dungeons and Dragons, you say what you want to do, and the DM decides how hard or how easy this is going to be. Difficulty class is what you do. Figure that out. All right. Patch's character wants to jump out said window with the fire hose wrapped around him, with no shoes on, with bloody feet from all the glass that he stepped on, killing all of the terrorists.
Don't
Hold on, wait. I got a flashback from a movie, I think. So for him to do this said acrobatic or athletic feat, I need him to roll an acrobatics check. And this is going to be a hard check because he's at the top of a skyscraper jumping out with no shoes on. So he rolls and he adds whatever modifiers that we talked about last week, which would be dexterity. If he's rolling as Carlin, it would be a acrobatics check with +1.
So I got a 19.
So he would be rolling a 19, which is really good, but it was a really hard difficulty class of 25 because it's a hard thing to do. So he fails his check, and as he starts running out the window, he slips, gets tangled up in the fire hose, and just dangles slowly down the side, all wrapped up, while his friends are trying to pull him back up. And since I'm a nice DM, I didn't kill him for falling out the window and falling to his death, for not being able to tie the rope right or something, because he didn't hit the check.
I got tied up in the rope. I just listened to that. Don't tell me.
Maybe DD's right, and the great old one does help out a little and just kind of not have her fall out the window or something. There's a lot of things
that asking questions as a player.
Yes, which is stuff that you can do as a DM to make stuff good. So basically, difficulty class is how easy or how hard it is. The DM will decide on the number that you need to roll depending on difficulty of the task you're doing. Hey, I want to go open that door. It's locked. I want to unlock it. All right, roll me a sleight of hand check with your thieves' tools. You roll, and it's probably easy because you're a rogue. Hey, look at that. Or it's hard because you don't know how to use thieves' tools. Or it's a really intricate lock that you've never seen before. There's so many different things that you can put together to make your difficulty class higher or lower. Early in the game, they're going to be roughly between 10 and 15, 15 being the hard. And then later in the game, 25 to 30. 30 is almost like unheard of.
It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, except when you're like 17, 18, 19th level, you can hit 30 almost all the time because you're almost a god tier character. So that's my D&D vocab. Do you have anything you want to talk about with the difficulty class?
I would sure love to. What happens if I roll a natural 20 when I'm doing one of those? Does that mean I automatically succeed?
No, actually, you only automatically succeed on attack rolls if it's a natural 20. And you only automatically fail if it's a 1 on attack rolls. Or spells. Right? Spell attacks. Attacks.
Yeah.
Skill checks, saving throws, anything natural 20 or natural 1, you still add your modifiers, and that's the number you get.
There's still a chance that you can pass depending on what level you are. However, if you're trying to kick in an iron door at level 5 and you roll a 1, which puts it at a 6, your foot's probably going to hurt after. Or
I take a damage.
Yep.
Broken toe for a day. A broken toe until the cleric regenerates it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have any questions? We got a few people in the chat. We can ask a couple questions right now.
Everybody's saying hi. Hi, Griff. Hi, Hockey. Hi, Fuzz. Hi, Disto. Hi, DD.
Sprained ego. Yep, that's right, Vandal.
Oh, that's the best thing about natural ones is the sprained ego. When you have like a barbarian that's going to do something super easy, like get into a wrestling contest and roll that first natural 1 and get the quick 3 count. Oh. As a player, you never want to do that again, and you never trust that die, and you break it with a hammer.
All right. We're going to move on to past DM experiences that you have. Funniest natural 1. Okay, funniest natural 1, and then we got a fuzz rab question right after. Funniest natural 1 that you rolled. Or DM'd against.
Honestly, my funniest natural 1 was probably when I gave Vandal advantage with his god tier weapon and he rolled 2 fucking natural 1s with like a plus. It was the greatest thing. Or I don't think he rolled a 1, but he didn't notice.
He literally said that.
Yeah, I see it now. critting a hit on your friend. That was a good one too. Another one that wasn't a one, but it was a good fail because I got him later. Was when I got Thundercat, when he was like, oh, he's looking around the hallway and he didn't see the moss, and then he ran in a later encounter in the sewer, and he's like, that's bullshit, and he's like, you son of a bitch, you got me.
I forgot completely. I forgot. That was the one I was gonna say. I forgot completely. Like, I had no idea that. I was like, why do I have disadvantage? What happened? What do you mean? And he was like, you slid on the moss and you ran in through it. And I was like, fuck. Right, he said that earlier, and I forgot.
Yep, I gave him the out. You hope batch half a leg then. Go on.
All right, we have Fuzzrab. How many games did you play before you decided to DM? 0. Ooh. Bad idea. I played in 1 or 2 games, I think, and then I was like, I'm gonna DM now. Yeah, it wasn't a good first DMing experience for me.
I did PvP for my first DM experience, and it was eye opening because don't give your players a feat if they do something good.
So you DM'd before you played? No, you played with us before you DM'd.
Before the first time I ever DM'd was for you guys.
So how many games did you played? Probably like a bunch, right?
Lot. I played a whole.
But you've been playing D&D for a while. Yeah,
I've been playing tabletop for a long time.
Yeah,
I've been role playing, if you will.
Yes. I'm still fairly new. My camera is really messing with me tonight. Let's turn the light on, see if that helps.
Oh, jeez.
Camera's really mad at me. I think it's my microphone's in the way, I think, of the light behind me, and it's really messing with it. Let me turn it off. I'll be right back.
So, as he's doing stuff, I see Griff said I had Patch, Vandal, and Thundercat in my first DM game, so they have to a lot. Honestly, if you've had players who've DM'd in the past and they're at your table, they are just as excited to play D&D and not have to sit behind the screen. Oh boy. Like, I love DMing, don't get me wrong, but when I get to be a player, it's so much more fun because then I don't know what I want to do. Because typically I make a whole world and then I go, I'm going to be this one thing until it's over. What do I want to do? So that's always a good thing about having your DMs. Like, if you have DMs who are playing for, like, you as a first-time DM, they'll be nice. They won't try and take advantage of you unless they're me. Thunder, you good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been just letting you talk. Yeah, so, I mean, past experiences that I had as a DM that, like, I'll always, like,
what's your favorite? All right, so you said past experiences.
It was Tiamat is my favorite encounter I've ever run was my Tiamat fight with you guys.
Okay, so that was your favorite encounter.
By far my favorite one.
Favorite moment as a DM? Your proudest moment?
My proudest moment?
I know that's a real hard one, right?
I think Barondir. Yep, I think Barondir, the change that Barondir showed throughout the whole story was made me you're so hard to DM sometimes, and the amount of like change that Barondir had throughout the 3 levels. I like before, like, he started off, he was the roughest character I think I could ever DM for. Like 2's nothing. 2's nothing compared to what Barondir brought at first. So, like, as you, like, slowly became, like, the nice guy and, like, took care of those dogs, and then you helped the old man, and then you, like, the children were, like, needed a place, and you helped them through the city, like, you went in above and beyond where Barondir would have ever been at level 3 when you got to level 5 or 6. So I think that was, like, just knowing that I, like, put in those little like side things that didn't really mean anything to, like, the game itself, other than
An encounter. It was
An
literally
encounter. But I put in the background of those encounters, like, if anyone helps this person, they're getting a gold coin. And that gold coin was one of the gold dragons that helps Bahamut. So like you were slowly like turning good, but also doing stuff that had backstory in the game that was long run stuff in the back. Yeah, and you didn't find out until the game was over. I was like, by the way,
you told me after Barondir the Revenant died, after
Yes.
you didn't let me say goodbye, and I fell into a fucking volcano.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, you just straight up died right there after it was dead.
I remember because I was traumatized.
One of our players in the background. Who is that yelling from the? Whoa, huh?
My lovely girlfriend of 11 years.
Who is one of my favorite player characters ever, or players ever.
Beth is
And then we got Puma. Long, frowned face.
Who is worse, Vandal? Puma or Gad?
Gad.
Thank you.
Gad was worse. So, what about you? Did you have a past experience that really made you like the proudest DM ever?
You when you
now we're going back and forth here. Oh.
No, I'm serious. Because I didn't want anyone to fucking ruin the Krampus ending that I had, but you and fucking Steph had to leave, and I was like, okay, well, they're gonna figure out they can't leave, and they don't get the happy ending. Now they know they're stuck in this snow globe that I created as the ruler of the 8th layer of hell, and that is where the campaign ended.
I know, but the issue is I know you as a DM, so I was like, there's no way that we finish this campaign like that. I was like, there's no way that it's over like that. I'm like, he totally fucked us somehow. There's something going on here, and I have to find out what it is. I had to find out. And then you're like, yeah, by the way, you're stuck in a little snow globe that's hanging from his chain. I'm like, you motherfucker. He fucking Men in Blacked us.
Yep. And then my favorite encounter of all the silly encounters that I ran, my favorite one that all of you totally forgot was the fire giants that had exploding armor. And when you killed one, Stool, the Myconid little kid, like 10-year-old that was strapped to my girlfriend's character's chest, could not pass the dex save because he was restrained. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to happen. I'll kill off an NPC, sure, why not?
I've killed off plenty. I killed off her whole family.
Off screen.
Still did it.
Yep.
She had to come back to the devastation. Hey, look, your town's destroyed. You want to get those characters invested? Let's go.
That was a moment I was like, she's gonna murder that goddamn dragon. That was where I was like, yep, she's pissed off.
But for best experience completely was the fight of Tiamat and how you guys band together and did your jobs. There was no like stepping around like, ooh, I'm the cleric, but I have a +3 to attack. I'm gonna go +7 plus that. Like, nope, I'm healing. You need to heal. Prayer. Healing word. Here you go. Cure wounds. Honestly, and then everyone did their work, and it was like there was no bickering, like there was no in-game chatter, like normally when you're fighting something, you're like, oh, you idiot, why'd you miss, or whatever. No, it was like, okay, we need your help over here. Like, it was like everyone worked together as a team. It was almost like militaristic almost. You had your guys over here, you guys over there.
That also had the rule of adaptability in there as well, too, because I do remember the Paladin of Bahamut falling into lava and not dying completely.
Because he was actually Bahamut. And he
also rolled a natural 20 on his death save.
But he was also Bahamut, so he was going to turn into Bahamut if he had got destroyed in his body. So you kind of probably still would have been fine.
He still would have been fine, but the thing is you gave the man an out, and he found the out.
Yep.
That's the rule of cool. That's literally the thumb coming up out of the lava as he's going in, I guess. I don't know. That was cool. Coming back out as opposed.
It was like you could see a spectral image of Bahamut reach his hand into the lava and pull him out by his thumb. All right, we're going to go to our first break, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. I hope, about 5 minutes. I think it's like 5 minutes and 25 seconds. I hope you enjoyed these words from our sponsors.
Tonight's episode of Tips, brought to you by Candlebin, from the makers of Candle Sync. The Candlebin. Are you constantly wondering, where should I keep my lit candles? Are you constantly just leaving them in strange places? And then wondering, hey, where did I put that candle? Well, now we've got a solution for you. It's the Candlebin. Let's see what real-life people have to say about the Candlebin.
Before I got the Candlebin, I used to just throw them anywhere. But apparently that starts fires. You could get in a lot of trouble for that. So now that I have the Candlebin, I don't do so much time in prison. It's great. Thanks, Candlebin.
Thanks to the Candlebin, I have the perfect place to put all my candles. Just last year, I raised the Yankee Candle Company's profits by over 8 figures. Autumn Leaves, Lilac Blossom, Apple Pumpkin, I have them all, man, all of them. And now they have a home. Thank you, Candlebin.
With the Candlebin, you can use lit candles, big candles, short candles, even ritual sacrifice candles. It all fits! Millions of Americans have already discovered the many uses for the Candlebin.
Since buying the Candlebin, my sex life has never been better. I'm telling you, fellas, you gotta get this quality product. Your PP will thank you. And, your wife will do that kinky shit she said she'd never do. I do it with clothes on.
See what Candlebin can do for you. Thanks to the Candlebin, I can buy rent. For only 13 easy payments of $19.99, you can get the Candlebin. But that's not all. If you call in the next 10 minutes, you can get a lighter absolutely free. Also brought to you by Sport for Men. It's a damn good spray. Are you sick of your children jumping on the bed? Have you told them over and over again to stop? Are you ready to drown them in the pool?
Yeah.
Well, now we've got a solution for you. Introducing the No Jump Bed. Hey, how'd you get up there? With the new standing headboard feature, you can even stand taller than you've ever stood before.
Why can't I jump on this bed?
Oh, no fair, Daddy. No fair.
You can not jump on it. And that's what makes it good.
Wow, that's amazing. But how much is it?
Funny you should ask. It's only 72 easy payments of $132.63.
Did you say 72 payments of $132.36?
No, you fucking idiot. Go back in the closet. I said 72 easy payments of $132.63.
Wow, that's amazing.
Find out what No Jump Bed can do for you.
Yeehaw! Let's peg each other.
quality standing. Quality standing.
Can I
I'm
get
not.
paid now?
Oh, hey. I hoped you hadn't seen me here because this is my new product, the People Lot 5000. I was trying to get some pictures of the couple that I sold the no jump bed to because, you know, it's a really solid laying machine. It's not really a machine, it's actually just a rock with some sheets on it. Well, I originally designed it so that kids would stop jumping on the bed because, fuck, that's annoying. It's basically just a rock, but, you know, it's comfortable, I guess.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing on my property? This is the 5th time I'm calling the police.
Oh, that's the long arm of the law. Gotta go.
Tonight's episode of Tips.
All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our word from our sponsors. Gotta go. All right.
What do you got for lore there, Thunder?
All right, this week for lore, we decided to dig into the Sword Coast a little bit, seeing how that's where we're going to base our little story on our gnome warlock. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about the Sword Coast a little bit. So, in D&D lore, Faerun is like the larger picture of the continent. And within this continent is the coast off the Sea of Swords, the Sword Coast. And within that Sword Coast, there are many players of renown. And there are a lot of very notable cities that you might have heard, and not being a D&D buff or player. Baldur's Gate, which is
That's a big one.
Neverwinter.
That's a big one. They have a game called that.
Yep, and Waterdeep. So these three are probably the biggest names on the Sword Coast. And moving down that list of large cities, you'll have Candlekeep, which is the largest library.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the Long Saddle, where the Harples are from. You have Amphiel. You have Yartar, which is a large trading town. You have Mithril Hall, where the dwarves live. You also have Silvery Moon and Daggerford, who are also just smaller type communities that are notable within Faerun and the Sword Coast. So we're going to focus our time and effort right now towards Candlekeep, because we talked last week about that's where Carlin is going to be trying to get to learn something. And so Patch here has some information on Candlekeep.
Ah, yes. Candlekeep rested atop a volcanic crag on a narrow peninsula that jutted out from the side of the Sword Coast. It was nestled onto the crag just a few hundred paces from the cliffside overlooking the Sea of Swords. The path leading to its entrance was called the Way of the Lion, which extended from the coastway that ran along the Sword Coast. The outer wall of Keep rose high above the coast, dotted with several towers that ascended into the skies above the cliffside. The main entrance to this was set by a grand double gates that there were 3 times as tall as a man forged from a strange black metal that was impervious to lightning and magical divination. Within this protective perimeter was the strong central keep that housed the great library, encircled by the Court of Air with several smaller stone buildings. The only way to gain entry into the Halls of Wisdom as a visitor was to present the seal of a renowned wizard, as well as an entrance gift to the library, a tome of immense value or significant historical importance to add to their collection. Probably one of my favorite places to go, next to Baldur's Gate, to be honest with you.
So, can you tell me? So we introduced Candlekeep into my game with Tiamat, because we were playing in Faerun, in the Sword Coast, from the first book of the Tiamat, Tyranny of Dragons. if can you remember what we made up / used? That might be interesting that we could maybe use for our backstory.
Well, there was one thing that I don't know if you made this up, but it is a true thing. You can only stay there for a week, and you can't come back for a month.
I think that's a true thing.
That is a true thing. I didn't know if you made that up, but that is a true thing. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, you can't copy books. You can only read stuff, and you have to pay. You
can have them copy for you, but it's a price. And they send it to you, and it's not. You can't wait for it. They won't like copy it and give it to you right then.
Nope.
Go
on.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the Sword Coast book at some of the stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you something that we didn't delve into. There's a notable location in the catacombs of Candlekeep.
The Darkhold.
Well, it's guarded by a ghost of a silver dragon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we never covered that, so that's kind of interesting. And there is also the Court of Air, which has the House of the Binder, which is a temple dedicated to the Lord of Knowledge, Ogma or Ugma, however you want to pronounce it. I think that would be kind of cool to use Ogma as a Great Old One, because he's always seeking knowledge in the, like, Cthulhu knows all. So it's kind of that gray area where she might be believing it's one thing, and it might be something completely different, and it wants you to go get the thing from the other thing.
I like it. Okay.
I like playing that with warlocks.
Yeah. I like it. So, and then they also have the monks that work there?
Yep.
The Avowed. And they do a lot of the work. And I'm pretty sure that, like, you have to go and take a bath before you could even go and look at the books. Like, you have to be clean, and they, like, make sure that you that everything's facilitated for you. If you've gained entrance to the keep, they want to make sure that they take care of you, because they know that you're of importance, because you need to either have that note from a wizard or bring a literature that they've never seen before.
See, the difference is it was "and" in this. You had to bring both of those things. I was like, oh okay.
Really?
Yeah, that's the difference.
All right.
Avowed. Servants sworn to protect the keep in the constants of its halls. As the year of the wild magic, the Avowed were led by the keeper of the tomes, Urlat, and his first assistant, first reader, Tetheril. They were served by the great readers, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's there.
Yeah, I have the services right here. You were right. Yeah, those who come to Candlekeep are permitted to remain for 1 10-day before departing, and must remain away for at least 1 full month before returning. During this 10-day, they may ask to read specific tomes known to be in possession of the library, or they may ask the monks to find them tomes concerning certain topics. That's pretty cool.
It's neat. It's weird, but it's neat. It's good weird, not bad.
I'd love to hear, like, other people's takes on it, like if they created their own information to go along, like to piggyback with it.
I assume there's a whole bunch of people. I mean, that's literally half of, like, if you're a first-time DM and you're running a book, add to it. There's always know your players and add to it.
I'm gonna have to look up some more info on that.
Before you do that, though, what are we doing for Creation Zone this week? Are we making this little forest?
Creation Zone. We're gonna work on Carlin's Forest and some NPCs for the future story.
Well, I'm crap at names, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. As you found out earlier with Trash Can Pete.
Let's get into the forest first. There is a forest right outside Candlekeep called the Cloakwood.
What's the other one, though?
There's a bigger one that's a little further away that is called the Wood of Sharp Teeth.
That sounds perfectly safe. Nothing could go wrong there. We should go to Cloakwood, though.
Yeah, we'll probably stay in Cloakwood. It's closer.
Yeah.
All right, so in Cloakwood, we can figure out how we want to do, like, her forest, I guess? Like, is she...
Well, from her backstory, she's an outlander, so it's from people who've moved on. So I'm assuming it's very like it looks like a town, but no one lives there except for like the small animals she talks to and this crazy lady who looks very well dressed but dingy and dirty. That was my thought process.
Okay, but she's basically alone with the random animals.
I wouldn't say random, but common like small forest animals like
right,
chipmunks,
but
squirrels.
I mean, there's not more than one of each. Like,
there could be. You never know that you need a whole business. You need a whole bunch of squirrels to run.
That's true, I guess. All right, so she's in the Cloakwood. It looks like a small town, a small little village.
But it's like kind of like aged. You remember Fandelver? Think what's that fucking place? The one that's in ruins where the green dragon lives. But like not in ruins, just mossed over.
I know what you mean. I don't remember what it was called. High Church? No. Earl. No, I don't remember what it was called.
But it's
like
a
greenest, not greenest. Whatever.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Cloakwood Forest looks like a small town / village, overgrowth.
Yep.
And a lady in rags, basically.
Yeah, like the cat lady from
an old lady. What's her name?
Agatha.
I know you're crapping Agatha.
Yep.
Old Agatha.
Evandel Thunder Tree. That's what it was.
Thunder Tree. Old Agatha.
She has very like grayish hair that's kind of like straw-y.
Okay, old Agatha. Gray straw hair.
And she wears a nightgown, not like pants, like a Grandpa Joe nightgown.
Wears a Grandpa Joe nightgown. She speaks in like tongues because she doesn't know how to speak.
Kind of like that.
So she's the Tasmanian devil.
But like
yes, like that, I guess.
All right, that works perfect for me. I like it.
So the whole time when she speaks in tongues, Carlin replies with what she thinks she's saying, but it's always wrong. So it's just a bunch of like,
yeah. She's just replying to a conversation she's having in her head. You know, that's a really good idea. I think I should do that.
Yes, exactly. So you think I should go chop the wood over there when she's like pointing at like the creek?
Yeah. No, I don't think the squirrels would run a bodega. I'm sorry. And this is why all the people left.
Well, I don't no, she moved from them. And this is the one lady that sticks around for some reason. She like followed her.
Okay.
She found her and then just kept following her.
So we know what she looks like. We know what she kind of sounds like. Does she gesticulate? Because
no, she just walks.
but like when she talks, does she very handsy? Does she like?
She would probably put her head down a little and shoulders would move.
Does she have any like looks on her face that she does?
She's always just
like straight face.
Not straight face, but more like lost. Looks more lost. More bubbles.
Oh, so I'm not thinking like a nutter. I'm thinking like a coma patient, like who's just like
more like when you talk to her, they still don't understand you, and they're just like,
oh, okay, I got you. All right,
but that's how she talks to you. So she talks to you like she doesn't understand you.
So kind of like Frankenstein, a little bit.
Sure, yeah,
okay,
but more
right,
surprised. More surprised than Frankenstein. Frankenstein's a little more dead than he needs to be.
So young Frankenstein.
Yes, young Frank. A lot more alive Frankenstein.
Yes, gotcha. No, well, you've seen young Frank, so like
less
on the red.
yeah, less zombie.
Okay, all right, less zombie.
Likes to
Okay.
make up words for Agatha, who is now a surprised talking young Frankenstein.
A surprise talking young Frankenstein. There you go. That's the perfect thing.
We're gonna slowly put this together. I'll send it to someone. Maybe Griff could help us out here or something. And I'll just send him our notes, and he can make it into like a story. Because I can't write stories, so this is gonna
I
be.
can write a story out of this.
All right, I'll pass it to you. I'll pass you the notes when we're done, when we're ready to write
Just be
it.
prepared to play the campaign and just wait to interact with her.
Oh, this is gonna be so good. She's gonna be such a good NPC or a good adventuring party to meet. When she makes her friends. All right, so we have an overarching home, a small town village with overgrowth. Its own, but it's small. It's like real small. It's not as big as Thunder Tree was. It'd be like more like four shacks, shacks compared to the 12 that had. And Agatha lives in one of the shacks. And just kind of follows Carlin around the village. She doesn't leave the village when Carlin leaves, but when Carlin's doing stuff, Agatha's kind of close by, maybe 12, 15 feet in like the corner watching. Why? Or just that's her thing.
How long has Carlin known Agatha?
How old's Carlin?
Gnomes can live pretty old. Let's say she's like 60, 70. That's like middle age for a gnome, yeah?
Is it? I feel like that's wrong.
I'm guessing here. I've never played a gnome.
Now you're making me second guess that, because I love my gnomes.
But no, I think she's like middle age, and maybe like Agatha before she went senile, like used to help her family, but now
is Agatha a human?
She's an elf. She's an elf now.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. Something you don't normally see in elves is like the losing the mind.
Maybe there's a reason for it that we haven't.
Hey,
written.
And she is a sorcerer. Maybe she asked to have some powers to. Who knows?
There's a method to this madness. You can't see me pointing.
We just start going. It's fine. Gotta look at the time, see where we're at here.
About an hour.
A little bit time left. We're doing the story time stanza right now as we speak.
So nestled behind Candlekeep in the woods of where?
So adult life is 40.
Oh, jeez.
So middle-aged would be like
60.
170. Because they're like 350 to 500 years.
I told you they lived a while.
So we could say 60. She's still young. She's like a young adult. Young, she's like 18 still.
Yeah.
All right.
And Agatha's like on the cusp of the end of her tail end of her like 500 years of being alive.
$60 old. Yeah, no problem. We'll put that in there. Okay. So now Agatha's an old elf. I got to put that in there.
Yep. Good old elves. Can't go wrong with them.
500, you said?
Years. Yep. She old.
And we don't even know if it's senile. We don't know what it is.
You don't know.
It's something.
That's the only way to explain it.
That's the best part about D&D, because there's so many things that it could be. All right. Mm-hmm. So we have Agatha. We have a little bit about the village. Is there anything specific about her shack that we should talk about? Anything?
What's the couple of animals that hang around her shack? The regulars that come to her shack to say hi and check in on her. I want to say one's a chipmunk, just because they're so cute and adorable. They have to be.
I really wanted it to be a beaver, but I know that we're really close to the ocean, so there's not really.
It could be an oceanic beaver.
How about a sea otter?
Yes.
because
They
they're
do
like
cute little
they're
things.
yeah. Sea otter. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Always visited by all
Oh my god.
animals.
She's like a gnome Little Mermaid.
Chipmunk named.
Nope. It's not a chipmunk now because you made it a sea otter.
No,
It's
no.
a seagull.
There's going to be a couple.
Okay,
I'm,
so
I'm talking. You said a chipmunk. Chipmunk named. I wanted to do Samuel. For some reason I said in my head I was like I was just going to go a chipmunk named Samuel. Samuel Nuts. That's what's going to be.
I'm going to go with
Samuel
idea.
Nuts.
There's two sea otters.
Two sea otters
who finish each other's sentences.
Okay.
Vandal, give me some names for those.
Oh God, Vandal's names for animals are always Vandal's names for animals are always premier. Mwah. Grade A.
Geki pass.
No, for animals. For animals, not for cities and towns.
Well, the Tabaxi's an animal, so he did name it Desk.
I guess. You're right.
Yeah.
Character names,
well, I mean, he's okay with character names, unless he's, making
Nokia, come on.
That was a joke.
He's lucky I let him keep it.
I want to say one of them is... I feel as though a Peter. One of them could be named Peter because Vandal's probably doing stuff with his kid. Peter and Duran. Duran! Yes! I like it.
Duran?
Yep, Duran and Duran. They're brothers. They're twins.
Named Duran, but it's E-N. It's Duran and the Duran.
Duran, D-U-R-A-N, and the other one is D-E-R-A-N.
Okay. Duran. Yeah, okay. I like it.
Mwah, que bella.
Well done.
I like doing a voice. I really think there should be a seagull there who talks a little bit like this and always has these weird things that he doesn't know what they are.
He talks like that, but only Carlin knows that he talks like that because everybody else hears
Squawk!
All right, a seagull named. We're gonna go with Peter because you wanted Peter.
Seagull. That sounds like a really swell idea. There, I like
Peter,
that name.
who talks like he's from New York.
He sounds a little bit like Columbo. A little bit. I can't do the crazy Peter Falk either.
All right. So we have her closest animal friends who show up at her house unannounced. They just show up randomly here and there, and she'll have conversations. We have. Let's talk about what is in her shack. Like, you walk in, you open that door, it's all looking run down outside. What's it look like inside? Is it pristine? Is she a neat freak?
She is.
Okay.
Really? She loves books. She is a neat freak. There's a bookshelf with trashy romance novels.
Bookshelf with okay.
And they're all alphabetized by character.
Okay.
What's her bed like?
She has one of those like nets that goes over it, like a canopy, but it covers the whole thing because although she loves nature, bugs are still a pain in the butt. And she doesn't hate bugs, but when she's sleeping, she wants to stay away. So she has it cover the whole thing.
Buzzing around tonight, you're so wee. I'm sorry, I don't know why my firefly went Creole there.
Yeah, the mosquito.
Fucking Princess of the Frog.
Get over here. Let me suck on your blood.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what the mosquitoes all sound. All of them sound like that. Every single one of them.
As we're saying this, DMs, if you're listening to this and you have a druid in your party or a gnome, prepare to talk to a lot of animals and have silly conversations. Thank you. And plants.
Let's talk about one of the animals you had to play while I finish writing this stuff.
One of the animals.
As a DM, you're one of the ones you had to play as a DM.
You talked to Sal when he couldn't talk, and you found out that he was just like a kid, and you wanted to ride him anyway, and the dinosaur race went nowhere. You tried to talk to the plants that wanted to eat you. That was funny. And they were like, "Yeah, come on over here. Let me talk to you a little closer. Yeah, come here, there, little guy." Or the T-Rex that you set free.
Yeah, I was a really nice person to all those animals, and I wasn't even a druid.
Nope, you were. I was
just a gnome that liked nature. Okay, so we have a bunch now about her house. We have a bunch about some of her animal friends, and we're at about an hour now of actual time here. Let's cut it there. We can still work on NPCs next week and finish her backstory for the character sheet, because we're gonna need to start getting that information out for the beginning of the story, I think. And we can slowly put the story together, and I'm thinking in like a month, maybe 4 more weeks, we'll probably be able to have like the first like 2 paragraphs of actual story written with when we have all the backstory finished.
I think in like 3 months we could probably have it up to maybe some sort of encounter that they start.
Yeah, I think so too. I think finding friends and for a quest is going to be what takes a little bit of time.
Yep. Good thing she might need to go to a library.
Okay, so let's keep going here. We have our storytime stanza we've just done. Next week, we have a player episode. So if you want to learn more about we're going to go over more backstory information, like actual in-book, player's handbook backstory stuff, where we talk about the different backstories and stuff we can put in, and more directly hers. And I think spells would probably be a good thing to put in there as our second overarching thing, because that's still part of her backstory, is getting some spells and learning how to cast magic. So if we can work on that as a player, from a player's perspective, and then maybe even the week following as our DM's perspective, we could even talk about spells as a DM. So there's a lot of wiggle room there. If you have any questions about D&D, please go and check our Twitter out at DysfunTTV. I think you can exclamation point Twitter in the chat. Dysfun Gaming, there it is. We did it. Okay. So that's our Twitter. Go ask us some questions. We'll do our best to answer them next week. And also, we post a lot about other things going on in our community. Also, we have a Discord that we would like to also plug, that Patch just did. And then also we have our YouTube channel, where we just released our DayZ episode 1 Zombo Force, the first one, and that's up on our YouTube. Fuzzrap, thank you for hanging out.
Yes, Fuzzrap, thank you very much for hanging out. If you like hanging out with us, it's funny because we normally do the Stay on Brand podcast on every other Friday. This is one of those Fridays where we don't, so we're doing a community night. I don't know what we're playing yet, because we fly by the seat of our pants, and we like it that way.
Wouldn't it be dysfunctional without it?
Exactly. So join the Discord. Tell us what we should play. We'll take it into consideration. We probably won't play it because we'll play something that doesn't make sense.
We will talk about it once.
We will certainly talk about it. We will
So
talk
you
about
should
a lot.
totally tell us what to do all the time because we will talk about it, and some of that stuff might get in here, and we hope it does because we want to play games with you guys. Yes. So also we have our community night on Friday. We have our Saturday night Daisy RP, our role play where we play off of the characters from our Daisy show on YouTube. So if you want to jump in, let us know in the Discord as well. We want to eventually increase the outtake on the server so we can have more players. But we do have normally 1 or 2 spots open every Saturday. So come check it out. Anything else from you, bud? Any shameless plugs for yourself?
Do you want me to shamelessly plug things? Jesus Christ!
I mean,
could sit here and talk
do
forever.
one really big shameless plug on yourself. Ray, you got 10 seconds. Ready, go.
I'm GM Patch Nasty. You should follow me on Twitter at GM Patch Nasty, on Instagram at GM Patch Nasty, on Twitch at GM Patch Nasty. I play lots of games and I have a mustache.
Ding, 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 ding. Well done. I am Thundercat0420 on all platforms. I do Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
OnlyFans.
Not yet. Still have a real job. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night. Let's go over to someone that's streaming.
Who's streaming? I can see a Throg. I can see TSO's playing some golf. Golf is certainly one of those games you can play and talk to your chat a lot.
Well, yeah, let's do it.
So certainly, when we go over to see Mr. TSO, throw up any raid emojis you have. Give him guff about how much his character looks like Guy Fieri, and tell him to take it to Flavortown.
Thank you, guys. Everyone have a great night. Yeah, play more tabletop. Yes. Learn D&D. Love you guys. Smooches.
Play more tabletop games.
Start with our homework.
We're out.
Hey, and we're out.
Woo.